Now that you have completed your pre-study, the readings that we set out at the beginning for you to complete in your own time, it is important that we state our motivations behind setting out this pre-study. You see, if someone says to you, the best way to teach someone to swim is to throw them in the deep waters and let them struggle on their own until they learn to swim. You, as a rational human being, a thinking being, a person who uses their mind, will tell them almost instantly that what if the person drowns, right? So the same example applies to any study that you undertake. If you are not given the right foundations, if you do not know where you stand and what you are undertaking exactly, if its foundations are not set proper from the onset of your journey, you will struggle. So it always makes sense to lay the correct foundations. This helps you navigate your journey, stay firm, stay motivated, and as well as not feel lost when you do find yourself in the deep end, so to speak. And so the following were the reasons why we set the pre-study for you guys to finish and complete in your own time before we jump into the main course lectures. Number 1 was the foundation of the Arabic language. Number 2 was the nature of the Arabic language. Number 3 was the history of Arabic paleography. Number 4 was the Islamic versus Orientalist narrative about the origins of Arabic characters. And number 5 was the level of study and the importance of self-study. Now, as far as the foundation of the Arabic language was concerned, the purpose set behind the pre-study was for the students to learn that Arabic, like other languages, belongs to a certain linguistic family. All languages are divided into language families, and Arabic happens to fall into one of them. The language family that Arabic belongs to is called the Semitic group of languages. Okay, and Semitic group of languages belong to a certain area on our planet where all Semitic languages originated from. From them is Hebrew, from them is Aramaic, from them is Syriac, and so on and so forth. So once you understand that Arabic language belongs to a Semitic group of languages, then we understand from that it has certain characteristics like other Semitic languages. One of them is that it is written from right to left as opposed to left to right, like in Latin and English, for example. It is written with only the consonants, so the vowels are not normally written. The letters, i.e. the Arabic, the characters that are used to make the phonetics of the language, tell us that Arabic is also a phonician language, i.e. it has a phonetic display of characters as opposed to a pictogrammic, like it's not like Chinese or Korean and so on and so forth. So when we look at and hear an Arabic sentence or Arabic word, so on and so forth, we are directly dealing with the sound of the word, and that completely informs us about the meaning behind the word. Okay? So if you understand that the Arabic language is a Semitic language and it's written from right to left and it's written with consonants, the vowels are only ever slightly written and mostly omitted and so on and so forth, and then you learn about the nature of the Arabic language afterwards, i.e. that it is a Mu'arab language. It is not a steady state Mabni language like English or German, for example. Then that tells us that the meaning that we derive from the language, the Arabic language, is multifold, right? We have the meaning which is to do with the word and its forms, and then when those forms become part of a structured sentence, the structure gives us a meaning, right? As well as the endings, the changes that happen at the end of the words right, called i'rab in the Arabic language, give us a meaning, right? So when you study Arabic grammar, nahu and sarf and balagha, the whole subject will make so much more sense if you understand that Arabic is a mu'arab language, right? It tells you about its subject, its object, its verb, who the person is intended behind speech, right? And who the person is who's being informed of what is being said, and so on and so forth. The structure gives you all of this information, right? Now, in English linguistics, the science of discourse analysis is a very tricky one. It's not a very structured science. It's all about reading within and between the lines and looking for the context and so on and so forth. Although that exists in the Arabic language, but we have something extra, which is the structure of the words on top of the case endings, right? The i'rab of the words. Now, i'rab is, as you have studied, is just a way of explaining who the subject is, who's the one doing the action, or what who the sentence is about, who the speech is about, right? The object, the action that was the object of the action, the person who did the action, he did something, that action upon something, right? So the object of that action, the action that happened upon an object, the recipient of that action would be given via the structure of a certain i'rab, right? So you learn all of that through just the case endings. So which basically means that something, and the only thing that the English language gives meaning through, Arabic only has that as one small component. It has many other ways to convey meaning, right? One of them is the i'rab. The next is the structure, the placing of words, right? It's not a set specific structure all the time. It just changes all the time, right? A sentence that makes no sense in English in a certain structure, it makes a complete sense in the Arabic language, right? Then we have meanings to do with the forms of the words itself, right? I could use a certain word in a certain form to give a very specific meaning, and if I wanted to use the same root but give a different meaning, I can just change the form. I can just change the form and give you that different meaning, right? That kind of inflection, that kind of changes happen in Arabic language, and the more you're tuned to observe those changes, the better you can grasp the meaning of the Arabic language, and the better you can become behind understanding the Book of Allah Azza wa Jal, the Hadith, the Nusus, the Fiqh, the Aqidah, and everything to do with our tradition. Okay, the purpose of our pre-study was to introduce you and lay this understanding that Arabic language operates in a Semitic tone. It is written from right to left. It's a Mu'arab language. It operates on consonants, right? And those consonants form the root letters, and those root letters have a meaning, and all words and forms that come from that root share an overarching meaning, right? The third purpose behind this was to introduce you to the history of Arabic script. How did Arabic script develop, right? Now, because we are going to be looking at the meanings behind Arabic letters themselves, the sounds of the Arabic letters and their meanings, as a precursor to that, it's important that we understand how the Arabic script developed in the first place. And you study that, alhamdulillah, how it essentially belongs to the Nabatean development of the characters, and we studied as well how the origin of the Arabic script essentially is, of course, because of such a long history, has speculations to it. And that's understandable, right? Like any other languages, which has spanned more than 2,000-3,000 years. It's more than 2,000 years, of course. Perhaps even 3,000 years. So you understand that such a long history can have speculations. However, when you read the thesis written by Shaykh Al-Azami, you read that the originator of the Arabic script was none other than the Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, right? And the Nabatean script, which is understood to be the precursor to the modern Arabic script, was just a form of Arabic, because Ismail alayhi salam married into the Yemeni tribe of Jurhum, which were essentially the original Arabs. And because of this link that he had with the Arabic tribes, he is the first person to have been attributed to the coinage of the Arabic script, right? So now that you understand that, the narrative that we have as Muslims is that Nabatean script is not a precursor to Arabic, but rather it is Arabic, but rather elementary form of Arabic. It's just a form of Arabic, which is one of its forms in the lineage of its development, right? We don't see it as a precursor or as an outside language. Okay, and then essentially, when you read through this, you could understand how the Orientalists, the Western academics, they have agendas behind their theories and how they put forth their thesis and their research. They don't have a very honest outlook, most of them, right, when they study Islam and the Arabic society. Which is why you read through the book and you understood how the arguments laid by the foremost Orientalists in the field of Arabic paleography and orthography are essentially flawed. Most of the arguments that they make they don't qualify the most primitive scrutiny, right? So we understand that, and alhamdulillah, we stand our ground, we are firm. So the purpose of this aspect of our pre-study, this comparison between the Islamic and the Orientalist narrative, was to give ourselves a firm belief that our tradition is completely preserved, and we don't have a shadow of a doubt in its development, in its preservation, and how it passed down to us. Alhamdulillah, we have all the resources and all the evidences to our side, alhamdulillah. So because we are doing all of this for the sake of Allah, the whole point of this study is to learn the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. It is important that we strengthen our faith, and this is one of the ways that you strengthen your faith, by understanding that the Islamic point of view and the narrative that we have behind all our points of belief and points of history, they are as preserved and as clear as the shining sun, alhamdulillah. So last but not least, we hoped that from this pre-study you could gauge the level of study expected from you, the level of critical thinking, and so on and so forth, that a good student is expected, inshallah. And we hope that you will engage in that manner with all the content that you come across in this course, inshallah. And lastly, the importance of self-study. As you know, all the content is going to be pre-recorded. So this really demands from you as a student that you value self-study, scheduling yourselves, building yourself as a high-functioning, diligent, consistent student, and who takes their studies seriously, inshallah, for the sake of Allah. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala.